Hello, beloved. Welcome into another video today. Thank you for taking the time to stop by here and spend a little time with our community here. Yeah, it's been on my mind to talk about the importance of alignment. Who you align with is extremely important, okay? And you're going to find throughout this whole process of spiritual awakening, purging, and things like that, you're going to have to let go of a lot of people, places, things, situations, habits, thoughts, behavioral issues, patterns, and limiting beliefs, and all kinds of things. So, this whole thing about reprogramming ourselves. But when you're doing this and you're purging and you're lightening your own load, the other thing you're going to have to take into mind and into consideration is who do I want to align with? And I want you to put some thought into this. No matter where you are on this path, well, I shouldn't say that. At the very beginning stages, it's generally pretty traumatic. So if you're just getting into your spiritual awakening, this is not something you need to be putting onto your list of things just yet. And you may want to come back to this video if you're at the beginning, because you're probably going through a lot. The dark night of the soul, it's pretty heavy, man. Pretty heavy. So I don't think you want to be doing this, but for those of you who are past that really traumatic part and you're like, well, who do I want to align with? I haven't even thought about that. I'm still in isolation. I'm still purging, or I'm still figuring things out, and whether or not I even want to go out yet and meet people. Well, now would be a great time for you to actually determine who it is that you want in your inner circle, who you want to align with. And it's really important that you align with the right people, because the wrong people can pull you right off your path and back into the past. The wrong people can put their karma onto you, or you could even take it unconsciously from them and start carrying it for them. Because again, remember, if you're going through a spiritual awakening, then you have a certain kind of energy that people are seeking out. But often, the unhealed people, when your light starts to shine really bright, people who are unhealed are going to place their karma onto you and unconsciously ask you to be responsible for healing them. Okay. And you have to be verbally expressing your consent in a conscious state for that. But we give this energy, um, I guess we give away our power so frequently from an unconscious state, and we don't realize that that is what's going on. And unhealed people will find you because they can sense your healing energy. They can sense your healing light, and they want to be a part of your vibration. They want some of your energy, especially energy vampires, right? You have good energy, girl, and they want it. So it's very important to align yourself to the right people. And especially as you raise your consciousness and your awareness and your frequency, and you start going up the ladder in stages, the higher you get, the more important it's going to be to decide who you want to align with. And the more sharp you're going to have to be at picking out all the things and all the people and the situations and the environments and the even the stuff that you're doing, your own patterns, your own behaviors, and picking those weeds out and getting rid of them as quickly as possible so they don't multiply in your garden after they seed, right? You don't want them to go to seed and then infest your whole garden. That's exactly what happens energetically and spiritually when you don't take care of specific people, frequencies, or issues in your environment. And so, who you align with is important because it wears off on you. You are the sum of the 5 closest people in your environment. And if that is such, then whoever you spend the most time with, those 5 people that you are the closest to, their energy, their patterns, their wounds, their karma, their behaviors, their projections, all of it you're taking on. You're taking on some of that unconsciously. It's like a contract that you're signing unconsciously to carry their weight because you're more spiritually evolved at this point than a lot of them. Not all of them. And this is why I'm saying be consciously aware of who you choose. Because if you choose people who are consciously aware and who are also doing the same work, and even if they're not at the same level, right? Because we're all at different levels and stages of the game. Even if they're not at the same level, as long as they are not projecting their wounds onto you, as long as they are awake, alert, and not denying their own truth and reality, then those are people you want in your corner. Those are people who you can trust to have in your inner circle, because no matter how much evolving growth and change you experience, they're going to cheer you on because they're doing the same thing. So they'll know exactly what that looks like, what it feels like, and they'll expect the same from you. And they'll know 100% that you've got their back, that you're going to be their cheerleader, right? That you're there to support and love them just the way they are, no matter how much they change. You're going to support that because you too have adopted a growth mindset, which is required for this job. Not this job, but all spiritual awakenings. It's required of you to adopt a growth mindset and to never allow anything or anyone to put you into a box ever again. Nobody puts baby in the corner, right? Yeah. So that's why it's so important to grow. And anybody who is uncomfortable with your growth, anybody who is uncomfortable with the speed of your growth or at the advancements that you're capable of, they're going to show you, they're going to reflect back to you their insecurities, as we talked about in that last video. But if you keep people like that in your inner circle, and I'm not saying that you have to completely get rid of all these people. If there are people who have, like, there's some benefit of being in a relationship to some degree with them, even if it's like once a month or twice a month, like you limit it, do it. It's up to you. It's really, I'm not here to tell you who or who not. I'm just giving you the definitions and the boundaries so that you can learn for yourself who is in your inner circle, you've got to keep a little more distance with, and who is definitely not safe, right? And so you want people in your corner who are going to inspire you, uplift you, who are going to motivate you because they're doing the same thing. You don't want to be the person that everybody turns to when they have a problem, and then there is nobody for you to turn to when you have a problem. Do you see how that works? So when you're in this dynamic, if you select people who don't have the same qualities as you, or are not putting in the effort to attain the knowledge and information that you are, who aren't doing the work, but instead allow their insecurities to rule them, who are uncomfortable by your growth or at the speed in which you develop, or are uncomfortable with any aspect of you and your confidence, right? Then these are people who are actually just going to drain you, who are going to slow you down, who are going to, after interactions with them, you may have to recover for longer. It's another thing to pay attention to. How long of a recovery energetically do you have in between interactions with you and yourself? There's none, hopefully. And you and other people. And if there is a recovery time longer than, say, an hour, that's too much. Okay, that's a red flag. I'm just going to say. But you don't want to be in a dynamic where you are always the one that everybody turns to because you're the rock. You're the leader. Every leader needs leaders too. Take that in for a second. Behind every teacher and every leader and every guru, and I'm not a guru, so Not putting myself on a pedestal here. But behind all of them, somebody was their teacher, their mentor, their guru. And that is a good teacher. A good teacher is always a student as well as a teacher. They are a lifelong student, and they're not afraid to say that. I don't know it all. I know a lot, don't get me wrong. I'm a brainy person, but I don't know it all, and I will never claim to. And I love learning for that reason, because there's just a never-ending amount of information to explore and to feel and to experience, and wisdom and things to be integrated. So, but you don't ever want to be that person. And I think that the majority of you women, you beautiful ladies, have been in that position at least once, or if not for a lifetime, which is why you're here on this video. You've been the rock for everybody. You've been reliable for everybody, and continue to carry on in the strongest way that anybody else has ever seen, which is why they all relied on you so much. You've been that person, but you've never had anybody you could turn to, because you've always been holding up that fort for everybody else. You've been holding up the bridge. You've been holding up the roof. You've been holding up everybody else's problems, but you've never had any support yourself. And so you don't want to be that person. You don't want to surround yourself with people only who don't have the same qualities, values, integrity. Integrity is a big one. Authenticity as you. And like I said, people are learning. So everybody's on a scale and a spectrum of where they are, and it's okay to let people in. But if they're projecting onto you, or they're being malicious, or their intent is malicious, or even if their toxic traits are becoming a little too much, or you're noticing them, if you're noticing them and they're directed at you, that's not the kind of people you need to be aligned with. You absolutely don't want a bunch of people like this in your corner. You need people who are strong, people who are growth mindset, or have a growth mindset, who are continuing to evolve, grow, and want to expand. Want, not just exploring spirituality and reading books and meditating and just the psychic stuff, but doing the deep inner shadow work, the deep inner work to get there. Because that's integrity. You can't just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. And in order to walk the walk, you have to do the work, the inner work, right? So all that other stuff is great. It's a part of it, but it's just one part of it. The other part of it is the integration and the work and the shadow work and the reflection and the inner child work and the loving and accepting ourselves and every aspect of ourselves, shadow and light, not just all light. Can't live there. That's unrealistic. We didn't come here to experience that. We came here for ascension to experience and balance both realms, the spiritual and the 3D. Right? We have to learn how to integrate both, which means we have to integrate our shadows. We have to love ourselves. We have to do all the hard work, right? And so you want people that you can look up to, who are more like mentors to you, as well as people who are looking up to you, right? It's in stages. But you don't only want people that, you can look up to, and you don't only want people who look up to you. You need to find people in both categories. in order to find some balance. But again, as long as they're not toxic, and again, a lot of people aren't even aware that they're being toxic. They're not aware of um, their own behaviors and how they're projecting and how that even works. A lot of people aren't even consciously aware of that. And that takes a certain level of spiritual work, doing the work. You don't just get these gifts for sitting here doing nothing. No, I had to earn all my gifts. I had to earn my knowledge. I had to earn reaccessing my spiritual gifts and abilities by doing the inner work. I had to work my butt off for it. So nobody's just going to give anybody anything. So if you have people like that, then they may just be leeching onto you. Not all of them, but there are obviously energy vampires, even the ones who are unconscious about it, who may be leeching onto you, just want to be around you because you're telling them all the information and the ideas and all that stuff, instead of them doing any of the work. Like people, if you've been in a toxic relationship before, you're very well aware that narcissists in particular will steal your identity. They'll try and steal your energy to hold up their own mask, to hold up whatever persona they're holding up. They'll steal the way you talk. They'll steal specific things that you say, like ready, Freddy, like spaghetti, right? They'll steal all those things. They'll steal your mannerisms. They'll steal the way, if they're another female to female, they'll steal the way you dress and act and hold yourself. Even men will steal the way that you hold yourself, right, and your energy. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. So if you just think about it, if you stop to think about it, it's really insane. If you've ever had a copycat before, and I mean, you could say it's flattering, but I don't know if it's flattering. It's actually a little more disturbing when you really finally realize that's what's happening, right? It's ugh, I just got goosebumps, like a gross kind. Um, it's disturbing. It's like mentally disturbing. And when you feel into that energy, you're like, oh, that person is mentally disturbed, right? That's why it's disturbing me mentally so much. Um, but yeah, you don't want these kinds of people in your environment because they just leech onto your energy, and they leech on, like they drain you of your energy, and they may only want to be in your environment so they can take that information and hold up some sort of persona without doing the work spiritually, emotionally, mentally, to attain the same level as you. And nobody's above that either. We've all done it. We've all had a mask. We've all had insecurities. I'm not here to judge, man. I'm not. And I say man, but you're all women. I just start changing that. I'm not here to judge, lady. That just doesn't sound right, though. But I'm not. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge them. That's just where they are on their path. Sometimes, yeah, it makes me angry. I'm a human being. I have emotions. Sometimes it's frustrating as hell. But at the end of the day, do I have to take that with me? No. That's their life. That's their journey. Those are their lessons, their karma. But that's the point. You shouldn't take it on either, right? Don't take it on. It's not mine. But I think it's wise. And I think I'm going to spend some more time doing this today because I'm finally getting out and about and experiencing the world and seeing who's out there. And, you can't just go back out into the world and be like, oh, yeah, since I learned all these lessons, I'm only going to attract amazing people, because that's just not the way it is. It's not. It's called reality. People are people. People are going to people. And really, these people are going to show up in varying levels of where they are. Even in the spiritual community, there are toxic people. Toxic people. I mean, look at all the spiritual narcissists. I happen to know some who tout all this spirituality, but they read it in books. They don't experience it firsthand. They don't do anything to actually back that up. These are people who walk the walk or who talk the talk but don't walk the walk, right? And I'm sure you've come across many of them. And you may have even done this in your past. Like I said, nobody's above it. Everybody's done it with at least something or at least once in their life because they felt insecure about who they are. So, okay, accept it. It's the truth. Why deny it? But beyond that, what do you do with it? Make that list, make that list. Who do I want in my environment? And what am I willing to allow in my inner circle? And in your inner circle, you probably want like the tightest crew that you can possibly get, the most supportive, the most alike as you, not just spiritual, because that is not enough of a relation to quantify all that you've put into getting to the level that you're at. That is not enough of what is the word I'm looking for here, Spirit? It's not enough to align you with your inner circle. The people in your inner circle, I just noticed that. The people in your inner circle should be those that you don't just relate to spiritually or on one level, because we've all made that mistake. Like we relate to people in one facet, but they aren't aligned morally, ethically, with integrity. Their values aren't aligned. Their interests aren't aligned spiritually, mentally, emotionally. They're not doing the same things as you, or they don't even understand what you're talking about. These aren't the people you want in your inner circle. That's what I'm going to say. You want to find the people who share all those same things. That's your soul family. That's how you know your soul family. Anybody else who's really uncertain about all that may not be a part of your soul family. Anybody who is not understanding anything that you're talking about, even like if you were to find this video and you have absolutely no clue what the heck I am talking about, then you're just not ready for it. And that's okay. But it also means that we're mismatched. We're not aligned, right? And that's totally okay too. I send you off with love and peace. I mean, I don't need to hold on to that, neither do you. It's all right. I hold no resentment towards you or anybody else who doesn't understand what it is that I'm talking about. They're just not consciously there yet. All good. All good. But maybe make a list of what your values are. Maybe make a list of what your interests are. Make a list of the types of people and energies or activities and things that you like or would like to do. Whether certain qualities of people is important too, such as having a growth mindset, because again, those are the people who are going to also grow and evolve, and they're going to push and motivate you to do the same. And that's healthy. Staying stuck and stagnant in the same place and trying to put people into that box so you can feel more comfortable about you staying stuck and stagnant is really unhealthy. And I just got to say it like that. Because again, we've all done it. We've all done it. I am not above it. I've done it too. Guilty as charged. But I also move past my own limitations. I also have a growth mindset. I also motivate myself to do things even when I don't want to do it, even when I can't stand the idea of doing it, even when I am scared so bad that I freeze and I can't get myself to move. I still do it, push myself because I know that's where the medicine is. So those are the kind of people I want in my life. Those are the people I want in my inner circle. And I would put down qualities with my pen. I would write down qualities. Oh, they match. Look at that. Qualities of what I want in a friend, what I want in these types of people in my inner circle, and then put another circle around that that's, a little more spaced out. And these are the people that you might see like every 2 weeks or so, you know? And what are the qualities and types of people I want here? And like, you know, really get deep into what it is you're looking for in a human being in your life. And then the like acquaintances, people that you need to keep more at a distance. Maybe those people who are trying on the path, right? They're trying. They're getting on the path maybe, or they're like maybe they're just starting the path, or they're starting exploration, or you know what I mean? Like people who are newer to the path, but maybe you don't need their energetic influence all the time in your life. Maybe those people are in your third circle. And then you've got the people like beyond who you may want to think twice about and kind of protect yourself against. That doesn't say don't give people opportunities to change. Give them a second chance should you feel you need to. I'm not telling you to give everybody a second chance. If they have already shown you who they are and they have hurt you, girl, don't do it. Like, I would never tell you to go back to an ex. Please never go back to an ex. There is a reason why you left him or her, right? Don't ever do that to yourself. Respect yourself more than that because you deserve it. But these are the people that, they're, even if they're just showing you lightly, if they showed you who they are, and you're questioning them, they're a little sus. Their deeper motives are starting to reveal themselves. You might want to have them on your exterior perimeter, or you might want to have that conversation with them and see if they change. But until then, they still have to stay out, right? Don't let them in your inner circle. Don't be vulnerable with them anymore. If you have, forgive yourself. It's okay. But generally, these are things that people will try and use against you if they are in a lower vibration and they're, let's just say they are manipulative, or they are living in darkness, or they're living in insecurity, in lack, right? Themselves. They're going to definitely try and use your wounds or your vulnerability to weaponize against you in any way, shape, or form. Okay. So you got to watch who is in your inner circle for that reason, too. That's another reason why it's so important to have those that you can actually trust in your environment and those that you can't. And just because they're spiritual doesn't mean they're safe. Okay? Because there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of fake spiritualists, there's a lot of also just people who are just exploring, who aren't going deep into it, who aren't on a spiritual awakening at this point, but they're, like you could probably look back and say, like, oh, I've always actually kind of been into spiritual things. I, was obsessed with crystals and did this and did that and found out about this and was shown this at some point. But that's all fine and dandy. But again, that's not a spiritual awakening. That's not the spiritual path. That's just the stuff that's on the outside glittering, making it look more appealing. Not saying that you shouldn't take the spiritual path. I'm not saying that at all. No, but it's the stuff that, kind of lures people into the spiritual awakening. Let's put it that way. It's like the what do they call it? Honeypot? I don't know if I'm saying that, using it in the right way. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's like honeypot, right? It kind of tricks you into taking the spiritual journey, and then you get into and you're like, oh, this sucks for a while. But you don't know that because you're in it so deeply that you're like, this just sucks. What's going on? Especially if you don't know what's going on. That's why you have channels like this. Hallelujah. Anyways, so it is really important, ladies, that you figure out, make a list, and when it comes time for you to, get out there again, that you have this list. You've figured out who you want in your inner circle and who, like, what places everybody else takes. And of course, you have to let people show themselves to you first. You can't just meet them for 10 seconds and be like, nope, unless, well, some people you can, but but if you're really wanting to give people an honest and genuine opportunity and you don't notice a whole bunch of red flags right off the bat, give them a few shots, give them some time. But it's up to you to decide. If anybody has a problem with you deciding who you get to have in your life, that's a massive red flag. Massive. Like massive. Seriously. That's a massive red flag. And I don't think people even think of it that way. You should be looking out for you. Nobody else is. Nobody else is going to look out for you. That's why you're here, right? That's why you've had a spiritual awakening. Nobody looked out for you. And if you did have a couple of people in your life, you're really lucky. You're really lucky because not everybody gets that. So the only person who's going to really look out for you is you. The only person who's going to protect you is you. That's why the only person who should be validating you, who you should seek advice from, who you should seek love from, who you should seek anything to fulfill any of your insecurities or your needs or desires is from you. No other opinions matter. Nobody's anything matters if it is going against your values, your morals, your ethics, and your integrity. If it is going against your personal beliefs, your intuition, your thoughts, your feelings, if anybody else is trying to control that in any way, shape, or form, or manipulate it, or manipulate you, get them out. They are the red flag, right? They are the red flag. If anybody has a problem with you loving yourself, you being the boss of yourself, you being large and in charge, you being number one to you putting in all this time and energy and effort into you, pampering yourself, feeding yourself well, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, drinking enough water, taking care of that body of yours. Anybody has a problem with that? Do you think they belong in your inner circle? Do you think they even belong in that second circle or even that third circle? Hell no. They don't belong anywhere near you. Okay? Sometimes I'm a little bit, gruff, a little rough around the edges, a little direct. But I've learned that's better. If I'm authentic and I am direct with people, if they can't handle it, they're never going to be able to handle it. If they are triggered by that, they're never going to be at peace with my strength. So keep these things in mind. What do you want to embody? And how do you want these people to react to you when they are in your environment? And if people are not reacting that way, first ask yourself, am I showing up in that state of embodiment? Am I showing up in victim consciousness still? Am I showing up still quite wounded? Which version of me is showing up? Right? And then, you may still be aligned with people like that. But over time, as you grow, you're going to notice the contrast between your development and where other people want to stay. Make no mistake about it. They want to stay there. They're comfortable there. They do not want to put in the work to change. They want to stay there. And it's not your job to take them with you. It's your job to get out. It's your job to change and grow and evolve. And yeah, are people going to be butthurt about it? Are they going to be offended about it? Yeah, probably. But are those your problems? Are they your emotions to take on? No. No, they're not. They're not. You have to be responsible for your own emotions for the first time in your life. So don't you think they should be responsible for their own? Put it back on them, where they belong. And every time you level up, you're going to see, if you still have people like that in your life, you're going to see that contrast, and it's going to get more and more painful because you're going to level up. And every time that you spend time with people like this, they're going to bring you back down a notch or 10, and you're going to have to reclimb that ladder or that staircase, and it's going to be more painful each time you have to reclimb it. And now these can be little lessons and they can be massive lessons, right? And you know this. You've been through this world long enough. You've been around long enough to know what that looks like. And if you look back over the course of your life, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I did repeat that lesson way too many times and it got really painful and it got really bad. But the thing about spiritual awakening is that that pain is going to be amplified. And I'm just speaking from my own experience because I, like most humans, have a stubborn streak. And I like my comfort zones as much as the next person. Or at least I did. I'm starting to change a little bit on that. But we just experience things, and sometimes those lessons are really hard. And sometimes we really need that strong kick in the butt. And as you have a spiritual awakening, or you're on the spiritual journey, that pain becomes more amplified and more intense. If you don't listen, it becomes more intense and it gets stronger and it gets louder, and the consequences are bigger if you don't listen. And that's a good thing because they're trying to fast track you. Your guides, your holy ancestors, your angels, your ascended masters who are all signed to you, source, they're all trying to fast track you into a different reality and a different life because you've done the suffering long enough. You've done the pain long enough. You've been in these cycles long enough. It's time to learn and move forward. But humans, we don't listen. It's like, no, I'm so done with change. I'm scared of change. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. And it is. It is. But it's part of the process. It is a part of the process. And it's all good. So you want people who, are obviously going to be aligned with that, who are going to be doing the same stuff. At least those are the ones who you have in your inner circle, right? It's not wrong to have people who maybe feel stuck or maybe are revealing something to you about your own wounding or how much you've evolved. Maybe that's another thing is like, how much have I evolved? Maybe this is a reflection with this contrast of how much I've actually evolved or that I've closed off this specific wound or, I should celebrate myself some more or, you have to really address these things and assess them for yourself because you're the only one who is in charge of you. I'm not in charge of you, right? I'm giving you some information, but you're to take whatever resonates and fits for you and use it for your own self-development so that you can apply it where it's needed. But I'm not saying take everything that I say as scripture, as, commandment. No, it's open for interpretation based on each individual. It's open to be accessed and used based on your own specific needs, core wounds, desires, journey, path, right? So I don't know about you, but I'm going to spend some time and write down my people in my circles. And I think I'm going to do 3 because really beyond 3 for me, at least at this point, um, beyond 3, I'm not interested. I have no need to have people who are not going to be in my corner or cheerleading me. Not that I need their cheerleading, but I mean, I'd like to have people who are going to motivate me to be the best version of myself. And that's what you should want too for yourself, right? So I'm going to do that tonight. If you do that and you get something figured out and you want to leave a comment about it, feel free. Leave that in the comments section. I absolutely love hearing from all of you. I just want to let you know that if you would like to subscribe, that does, of course, help my algorithm. So does giving it a thumbs up. That does help support the channel, supports energetically and physically, because that obviously the algorithm is going to be like, oh, you know what? I should show these videos to other women who may be in this same situation. So that would be great. Great if we can grow this community. All right. Otherwise, I am sending you all so much love. I love you all. If you're new here, again, feel free to join. If you are returning, thank you so much. Big hugs. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.